Hi, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Arit Eminue. Don't forget to like, comment and share this video. And if you've got any questions that you'd like to have answered around interviews or career advice, then send them over, and you never know, you may find them addressed in one of these videos. So what we're going to be looking at today are 5 common questions that you might be asked even during a telephone interview. This video actually goes hand in hand with another one I produced that helps you prepare for a telephone interview, so do watch them one after the other. So let's get into it. The first question that you might be asked is, can you tell me more about yourself, or can you take me through your CV, is another way the question may be phrased. This isn't about regurgitating what you've written on your CV, because your interviewer will have that. Neither is it about you taking us on a trip down memory lane. You've got to keep it short, sweet and simple, picking up on key points in your education and your work experience as it relates to the job. Say, for example, you've applied for an office admin role and they're looking for someone with excellent customer service and administration skills. Your answer might sound something along the lines of, I've been working as a receptionist for the last 2 years, being the first point of call for people coming into the building as well as those ringing in to the office. I've learned to be professional, polite, and I have adapted my communication style to match the different personalities I've come across. I have also provided administration support to the office manager, and this included booking travel, managing the room booking system, to diary management, to also organising couriers, as well as processing her expenses. Prior to this, I did a diploma in business administration, where I covered all different functions of a business, right from the finance to marketing to quality management to customer service. So as you can see, we've just taken little snapshots from different parts of your experience and presented it to your interviewer. Number 2 question you might get asked is, could you tell me what interests you in this job? Or it might be, why did you apply for this job? Now this is where we as an interviewer get to see how much research you have conducted into the company, and you get to impress us with your research and also play a little bit of game of matchmaker. Because interviews are always about you showing us how your skills match those that we've advertised. So say, for example, I don't know, you've applied for an IT recruitment consultancy agency, and they're looking for a sales executive. So your answer might be, well, I've been working as a sales executive for the last 18 months, and I have regularly overachieved my monthly KPIs by 20% and won salesperson of the month 3 months in a row. I saw on LinkedIn that the company is looking to move into the digital sector, and I'd like to hope that the skills and experiences I've acquired today would contribute towards this expansion. So as you can see, your answer revealed that you've done a bit of research on the company and you've incorporated that into your answer. And if you're looking for tips on how to research companies, and this is beyond looking at the company website, because there are other little tips I have given you, you can check out my video, but that's called what do you know about us, and it'll pop up here. There'll be a link in one of these corners, so feel free to watch that. So number 3 question you might be asked is around salary expectations. And this is always a tricky one, isn't it? Because you don't want to go in too high and price yourself out, but then go into low and undersell yourself. So because this is a telephone interview, and possibly the first, and I suspect the first interview you've had with the company, it's totally fine to say, give an answer something along the lines of, well, it's a little premature for me to give a figure right now, as I'm still trying to find out more about the organisation, and I'm not sure about the benefits that you offer to employees, or I'd like to come down to the office to get a sense of the culture, because all of this will help me make a more informed decision. So it's fine to give an answer like that. Or if they're really pushy, do your research beforehand and have a salary bracket that you can give. But again, if you say, oh, I don't know, go back to the office administrator role, then you might say, I'm looking for a salary between 20 and 25,000, but obviously that's all subject to more discussions with you and getting to know the company a little bit better. Now, I've got a video that is all about salary expectations, so do have a look at that, because that will give you some tips on how to work out your salary bracket. So number 4, are we on for number 4 question you might be asked, is about you, could you tell us what you're most proud of professionally, or what your greatest achievements are? Now, this is an opportunity for you to kind of distinguish yourself by picking something that makes you not only just stand out from the crowd, but also gives you an opportunity to talk about some of the softer skills that you might have developed and apply them to the role in question. So say, for example, an example answer could be, while in my current role, I developed a new cloud-based filing system which increased productivity enormously because we're an international office. It meant that people overseas could access some of the data that their colleagues in London were also producing. So that involved me researching different cloud-based systems, presenting 3 options to my line manager along with a budget, and then setting up a project management plan for the implementation. So this was really one of my proudest achievements because it helped me develop my confidence, and as a result I now seek to get involved in projects that stretch me, which I think will be of great benefit to this company. So again, you talked about how it benefited you personally, but how it's also going to benefit the employer. Now, if you've not got tons of work experience, it's totally fine to refer to some activities that you've done in your personal life. So say, for example, you volunteered and you've organised events, or you've done a charitable run, or you've done some kind of fundraising activity, then it's fine to incorporate those. Just make sure that you refer to those transferable skills as they relate to the job in question. So the final question, or another question, the 5th question in this video anyway, that you might get asked is, do you have any questions? And it's super important that you have questions, because interviews are as much about you trying to find out more about the organisation as it is about your interviewer trying to find out more about you. So you've always got to have questions. So number 1, in this sense, for telephone interview, I'd ask about the culture of the organisation, if they could tell you about the culture of the organisation, because that answer will help you become more prepared when you do get to go in for that face-to-face interview. And if you have a look at my video, do you have any questions? It'll pop up in one of those icons. There's also other suggestions of questions that you can have to hand. Because this is a telephone interview though, you can actually have on your screen questions that you found online to ask. Just make sure you ask. And a crucial question to ask actually during the telephone interview is, what is the next stage? Because this will help you manage expectations, and you might be able to pin your interviewer down on the time at which they are due to get back to you. So say, for example, their answer might be, well, we've got a telephone interview set up for the rest of today, and then we're going to decide who we're going to bring back to bring in for face-to-face interviews. So you might hear from us by Friday, and say this is on Monday, you might hear from us by Friday. So if you haven't heard from them, then within a week's time, then you can then follow up. Okay, so do make sure that you ask what the next stages are going to be. Now, in terms of just general housekeeping, a couple of things to bear in mind is always make sure you've got dates of availability for interview, because you might be asked that. And always start with the dates that you're free, because sometimes people say, oh, I can't do this day, I can't do that day. Start with the dates that you're free. Another question you might be asked is, when can you start? And again, be realistic and transparent. If you've got to give 4 weeks notice, give 4 weeks notice. That's fine, because the employers will wait for the right candidate. Just be upfront about what your notice period is going to be. And always send a thank you note. Doesn't have to be an essay, just a couple of lines saying about how you enjoyed the interview, super enthusiastic about the role, and how you look forward to hearing from them soon. And as I mentioned earlier, it's totally fine to follow up too. You can do that. I always say maybe it's a week after the interview, and if you've not heard anything, then follow up a week after that, and then just leave it. Leaving it doesn't mean that they're not going to come back to you, but just the constant email, you don't want to become a nuisance. So just a couple of times to follow up. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. Feel free to share this video and click on the link below for details of vacancies at DiVA, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.